Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's have another speed painty situation. This one's been sped up a little bit more, past 400%. I have a total of 80 minutes of content here, so this should be a little more interesting and actually cover a bigger basis of material. Now, I can't remember exactly what's going on here, but I think this is past the expanding of territory of land. This is how do you say, this is me thinking about adding land, thinking about changing some of the land, expanding some of it, and retooling, kind of reshaping the amount of mountainous terrain, volcanoes, and earthquake land. To recap from the last video, red is lava or volcano land. I think I messed that up. So red is volcano stuff. Cyan is earthquake. Here I am thinking of actually redoing the map in a major way. This is a process in wherein I thought it would look better and everything would fit better together if I moved everything. See, here I'm resizing the northern regions. But yeah, so more or less what's going to happen here is we're going to add a continent and move a lot of them around because I just thought they were inappropriately placed, to be honest. So zoomed out. I'm going to forget about the mountainous thing until we look at it again. I think here I'm just trying to make sure that all the oceans are of one solid color. The program I'm using, called Fire Alpaca by the way, can be fairly bad at keeping track of such things. And it can leave little dots of the wrong color that can really mess with the look of your final product by the end. Oh gosh, yeah, and then I literally what happened here is I had to retool my former maps of tectonic plates, ocean currents, and all of that. I had to literally redo it. I decided if I have to redo all of that, then I might as well change up the continents, what they are, where they are, how they work. And honestly, the one on the right, which is Isos and Kujand, could probably stand to be a bit fatter. But it's too late and I'm not doing it. I'm not changing it anytime soon anyway. There's the Isles of Rowan. Here's Dorosin. Oltal doesn't exist yet. We got the Larnacan Isles to the west, and then Nidran and Sirik on the top. And here I'm fixing a few oddities from moving land around and editing it. But yeah, I feel like Isos and Kujan, the westernmost continent, could deal with being a little bit changed. Here you see me forming the basis of Otal, which I thought of like the island atoll, basically. It's a pretty silly name, but here I'm making some better shapes, an ocean and some islands and some breaks off and changing some of the shape, kind of solidifying what I want the shape to be. Atoll is probably my favorite shaped continent, though I don't think I do an amazing job on its mountains and other things that you'll see in a minute. And this is a restructuring of Rowan. I had to go through many iterations. I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted it to look like. I ended up on kind of like a triangular shaped archipelago of sorts. It's weird, but I ended up thinking that if I kept trying over and over again, I wasn't ever going to be happy. And I'm kind of happy with what I ended up with. See here, I wanted to make islands around a central ocean, but that wasn't really working that well. I think this got restructured as well. None of this ends up really working. But yeah, it shows that it's kind of a struggle for me, at least, to make islands compelling. This one is just kind of like, thought it'd be cool to make a T-shape and add islands around it. And we're seeing more of how Rowan ends up being in the very end. Here we got the Larnacan Isles, home of Hytera, and adding more islands. I guess they're both archipelagos, or one's, I don't know, like they're both archipelagos, that's for sure. One just has a major island on it that could be considered more of a continent. And here is more or less the final map, you'll notice. With the water and the land, and I had to redo all the tectonic plates. Yep, we're drawing them up a bit and just kind of like base them off of where I want mountains to be on Dorosin, which is near the center of the map. That central continent that's really long and tall is Dorosin. Wanted there to be mountains there. Wanted Rowan to have mountains along its eastern coast. Wanted to kind of try to split Kujan and Asos on the eastern half. Atoll didn't really care, just wanted some continents and some tectonic plates. Had to move that one for whatever reason. But yeah, some of these aren't as well thought out as others, but I thought it was more fun if it was a little organic and a little bit off the cuff. There's a lot of cool little bits. I think there's like some islands that got like volcanoes in the center of them or mountains. I end up doing that, so those are all my tectonic plates, and I end up giving them new directions. So I think as we cut through here, I make a bunch of layers. If anyone out there is thinking about becoming an artist or drawing, especially on the virtual medium, because you can't really do this on paper, layers. As many layers as you want. I should have probably had each continent on a different layer, all on its own. Because I like that I did tectonic plates and then I did tectonic arrows on a different layer, and I have miniature arrows, which those could have possibly been on their own layer as well. But let me tell you, layers in a virtual medium is so good because if any little bit is messed up or you want to change that little bit, you can change that little bit without changing anything else. I don't want to go back and fix my landmass problems anymore, but I will. So yeah, you see that if they're kind of running into each other, if the tectonic plates are crashing into each other, you get mountains. If they're spreading apart, you get like more volcanic, and if they're kind of sliding past each other, you get more earthquakes. So there's a lot of like earthquake regions in the oceans, and here I color code it. Blue for mountains, red. We already know the system. I wanted things that would stand out from each other and stand out from the rest of the map, and not just be like blind, like just I wanted it all to stand out easily to me without having to think about it too hard, and to be colors that I could easily recognize. Brown was going to be like mountains, or brown was going to be earthquakes, and I kept going back and forth between what those should be. I ended up making these mountains quite chunky, and I'm not super proud of it. I switched back and forth between chunky and not chunky. See, Atoll has like a weird T junction of mountains and stuff, which is fine. I could probably fit like dragon kingdoms, maybe some ogre kingdoms, and some dwarven kingdoms down there. I still haven't really fleshed out what I want where I want a lot of my races to live, which kind of annoys me. There we go, just a bunch of where the land is. There's not a lot of earthquakes on land, but there are major parts of the continent, so I think it's enough. You don't want your entire world to be covered in earthquakes. Volcanoes. I keep repeating myself. I'm just kind of watching this and thinking of what I was doing at the time. And it's hard to differentiate the different lands name-wise because I haven't given a lot of it names. I know I have northern, western, and southern Dorosin. I have like eastern and western Isos. Right now we're looking at eastern Kujand, and then there's western Kujand. And I wanted some tropics, and I wanted some cool tropical islands, or tropical, or I think there's a different name for it, but near the equator. The colors here, there's orange for savanna, yellow for desert, red is tropical, green is temperate, light green is the steppes. We have cyan tundra, light blue or just blue is like tundra, or no, icy wastes, not entirely sure. Here I'm taking off the height map and remaking the height map in a new way, which was it's fun, but it's tedious. But yeah, there's a bunch of different biomes. So there's like steppes, tundra, temperate, desert, all that stuff. It's not super comprehensive. It's what I found on a world building website, and if I remember, I'll try to like link it in the description. But there's some basic climates that I found and placed them around my world based on distance from the equator. The pink that you see up in Nidran, occasionally you might have to go back and look at that, but up in the north there's only like 2 areas on the entire planet that have straight up just ice shelves that are unlivable. the northern in the north, and then like the southern tips. Oh shit. Well, I didn't pay attention. The video's over. I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye bye.